we all have an important role, because how the 21st century grows, the economic base of the United States as it defines itself is all going to be tied to this region. That is why we need people in Washington, D.C. who have the vision of what it's going to look like. You know, who would think that after my husband was in Vietnam, who would think that that country wants to be our friend? They want to be our friend. They want us to have people in Vietnam. Philippines want the presence of the United States. Singapore is building us ports. They want us there. What is Australia? Darwin. They want us there. What does it tell you? It tells you that everyone realizes that the power of the Pacific is in the United States, and it is our role in the Asia-Pacific region. So it is that vision, the vision of knowing that we must do what we can. And this is where Senator Inouye, though he's not here, has been very important in when he does his appropriations. You know, I've had every major defense secretary, Gates and Leon Panetta, before me. I've had every one of the chiefs, because I sit on armed services, before me. And I've asked each and every one of them, what is your vision of the military in the year 2020 and 2030? Because I want to know. Because Hawaii has Pearl Harbor, we have Hickam, we have Schofield, we have Kaneohe, and you know, actually we have 119 sites that are military related. Don't ask me where they are, I lose track after 20. And we have 119 according to them. So I said, what is your vision? General Chiarelli said it best, and so did General Dempsey. They said, Congresswoman, we have been 100% accurate in one thing. We have never been able to predict anything. And I said, well, you want people like me, a freshman from Hawaii, to vote on your appropriations on the National Defense Authorization Act without any vision of what it's going to be like? He said, we fought Afghanistan and Iraq with World War II equipment. That's true. The World War II methodology. And now we're moving out of Iraq and Afghanistan. Are we going to try to be geared up the same way for wherever it may take us? We don't ever want to see another type of conflict or theater. But if we were, what is it going to look like? And then I realized what the answer was. The answer is we set policy by acquisition. And that's where what they've done in the past is so important. An F-22 takes 17 years to build. 17 years. F-35, we're still building that, right? A carrier, think about how long that takes. So when I say we set policy by acquisition, whatever we buy now, whatever we commission now, is going to define us into the future. So though the senator is retiring, and I say that with a heavy heart, you know, he is going to leave an imprint with what he's done that's going to define us 20-something years, 30 years into the future, because that is the way we do things. So when I am there, and when I think about what I'm going to vote on, how I'm going to represent you, it is always in the context of what is Hawaii's role in the future, what is United States' role, and it is the Asia-Pacific region. And this is the region that we must protect and cover. And I just want to end with a sort of a funny story. Senator mentioned endangered species. Because I want to tell you also that there's controversy, as you know, in Congress. But there are times in controversy where we must look at what's in the best interest of the state before anything else. Senator says we have the most endangered species. He is absolutely correct. So Norm Dix, who is the ranking member, the highest Democrat in appropriations, equivalent to Senator Inouye's committee in the House, and I, and two other, a Republican named Fitzgerald from Pennsylvania and another Democrat named Mike Thompson from California, we introduced an amendment to the Interior Appropriations Measure that would have prohibited Fish and Wildlife from ever designating another endangered species and another critical habitat. That was there. So we put in an amendment to kill that rider, and we were very successful. So the week before I came home I received a prestigious award from the Defenders of Wildlife for doing exactly that. In other words, helping fish and wildlife. When I go home, back to DC next week, I have a meeting with the director of Fish and Wildlife because he's trying to determine that 292 acres in the Kailua area into West Kapolei, over ORNL, into Colleen will be a critical habitat. 292 acres. And I said, you know, Deep Draft Harbor is supposed to expand. We have all these plans. HUGS, Harbors Users Group, is part of that. All the construction that we see in the near future is in the Kapolei Ewa region. And you're gonna declare it a critical habitat, which means how do we get things from one side to the other side? Because it's going to be crossing critical habitat. Hawaiian Electric is supposed to put their fuel station there as well. I said, well, this is crazy. So as I get the award for saving fish and wildlife, I'm going to back and do battle with fish and wildlife because I think it's low. And I tell them, you know, we have coral. The land there is coral from the Deep Draft Harbor. Only kiawe grows on coral. Nothing else grows on coral, only kiawe. I said, what are we going to do? And I said, what is endangered there? The response was, well, nothing yet, but we need a place for them to come back. I said, not in coral, not in coral. And you're going to stop this whole area because of that. So as I aim, as Senator said, fight for what I believe is right. It shouldn't stop them from being able to declare. At the same time, they have no right to be local either. So I'm fighting them that way. And that, sometimes people say, you know, you have very strange votes. And I said, they may seem strange to you, but when I go home, I can explain it to my supporters and the people of Hawaii as to why I voted that way. So in Washington, it is a matter of doing your homework, understanding the issues, and always having in my mind Senator Akaka and how he represents truly the heart and soul of Hawaii. And it is an honor to have served with him, and I hope that I can continue in his vein. In other words, like him, always knowing that what matters to us most, the people, our cultures, and that which makes us so unique. So to all of you, thank you very much for being here, and I want you to know that this is a homecoming, and I know we have to do everything. And for the kupuna in here, don't worry, we are there to fight for you. And remember, it's the Democrats who are fighting for Social Security, the preservation of Medicare, and to ensure that Medicaid doesn't get cut too. That is what we stand for. And that is why not only do I ask for your support and the fact that I ask for a continuation of not only the President of the United States, our own President Barack Obama, but also for a congressional delegation that shares the philosophy, and I hope each and every one of them will embrace what I consider to be the heart and soul, that which Senator Akaka represented. Thank you all very much. Mahalo.